So one day, this guy has a life-changing realization. The world is ending, the apocalypse is coming, and he's the only one who can save everyone. So let's call him Roach. Roach is a local preacher, he's really charismatic, and a lot of people love him. But one day, he gets into a disagreement with the church he preaches at, and they kick him out. Here's the thing though, Roach is a holy spiritual being, so he isn't gonna let this stop him. And he decides to start his own organization, his own commune, away from everyone. So he asks some of his followers from his old church if they'll move out into the woods with him so that they can start a commune and he can save them that way. And surprisingly, about 12 of them agree to do it. So then Roach and these 12 followers, they pack up everything and they move out of the city and into the woods and they build like a little log cabin and eventually some other structures. So there they are, living out in the woods. And he's preaching to them every day, and these followers love Roach. I mean, he's gonna save them from the apocalypse. In fact, they love him so much, he eventually convinces 8 of the 9 women in the group to marry him, all at the same time. So now Roach has 8 wives, and of course he's smashing with all of them, because I guess he says he needs to, because the apocalypse is coming and he's gotta help repopulate the world. And so he starts making babies with all these women. And within a few years, he's got over 20 kids living out there in that commune with them. So now the group has grown to about 40 followers total. But then, slowly, over time, Roach starts drinking more and more. Because I guess this holy spiritual being drinks a lot. And little by little, he starts to run this commune like a dictatorship. He's mean to his followers, he's violent, he tortures them, he punishes the members by hitting them, sometimes with a belt, sometimes with a hammer. Sometimes he'll take a pew-pew and he won't shoot at you, but he'll shoot near you. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, Roach also says he has special healing powers. And when his followers are sick, he'll perform amateur surgery on them himself, often making their condition worse. Not to mention there's all kinds of SA and abuse going on there that I won't even begin to describe here. Yet, none of his followers leave, because Roach is a holy spiritual being and he's absolutely going to save them from the coming apocalypse. Spoiler alert, the apocalypse isn't coming. So 2 or 3 years pass and the group is still out there. And one day, an outsider joins them. This guy. And they let Guy into the group, but Guy is admittedly a little nutty. So naturally, Roach puts him in charge of babysitting. So there Guy is one day, babysitting one of their 2-year-old toddlers, Samuel, and Samuel suddenly starts crying, and he won't stop. So Guy, who's a little nutty, he doesn't know what to do. So he starts punching him, and he injures him severely. And then Roach finds out about this, and Roach is like, oh, well, I have special holy healing powers, so I can fix Samuel's injuries. And then Roach decides that some of these injuries can be healed with a circumcision for some reason. So, Roach goes to circumcise Samuel, and him, not knowing what the he's doing, he gives Samuel alcohol because he doesn't have any anesthesia. So he forces Samuel to drink a bunch of alcohol, and pretty quickly, Samuel gets sick from alcohol poisoning and dies. Then, Roach gets mad and blames Guy for Samuel dying. And he decides that Guy needs to be put on trial by the commune and punished. And that Guy's punishment will be castration. So 6 months later, this group holds a trial for Guy. And they find him guilty, and Guy agrees to accept the punishment. And then Roach gets a razor and castrates Guy. And after that, the group starts treating Guy like an outcast, and he's like, F this, and he runs away. And he escapes the commune, and he reports Roach to the police like, this guy Roach just castrated me, and also a kid died. So then soon enough, police come out to the woods, and they raid the commune. And they arrest Roach and some of his followers for going along with everything, and they're all found guilty and sent to prison, and the commune is ordered to disband. Oh, but it's not even close to being over. So Roach is in prison for about 1.5 years, and some of his followers wise up and leave. But some of them don't. And after Roach gets out, he goes straight to his remaining 22 followers. And they move the commune to a new location where no one can bother them. Now, this new location is where it really gets crazy. The punishment gets worse, the torture gets worse, the crazy surgeries get worse. But it's fine, y'all, because Roach is gonna save them from the coming apocalypse. Now, at one point, one of his wives, this woman, Gabby has a 5-month-old who's also Roach's kid. And one morning, the 5-month-old won't stop crying. So Roach orders them to leave the kid outside in a wheelbarrow in the freezing cold for hours. It's about 15 degrees outside. And of course, the kid doesn't survive. And then another day, another one of his wives, Solange, she starts having stomach pain. So then, of course, Roach, he's got to use his holy healing powers and operate on her. So he operates on her. And of course, the operation fails. And sadly, Solange passes away the next day. And then they have to bury Solange right there on the grounds of the compound. But here's where it all goes wrong for Roach. One day he gets mad at Gabby, and he decides he's gonna make an example out of her. So he pins her down and he proceeds to amputate her arm with a carpet knife, and then eventually a meat cleaver. And that is gruesome and horrible, and that is also the moment where Gabby decides she's had enough. It's about fucking time. And almost 3 weeks later, Gabby is running through the woods. She has finally escaped the commune. And she runs until she somehow makes it to a nearby hospital. And the hospital staff, they see her wounds and they see that her arm is missing, and they're like, what the fuck? And they report it all to the police. And then police talk to Gabby, and Gabby tells them everything about the punishments, the tortures, the crazy surgeries, the deaths. And then police, they immediately go to raid the commune. But Roach, he knows they're coming, and he's already fled out into the wilderness. And it takes about 6 weeks to find him, but eventually they do, and he finally gets arrested and charged, and ultimately he's sentenced to life. So I guess he's got to be a holy spiritual being in prison now. Until decades later, one of his fellow inmates unalives him in prison.